My name is Michael Gelfand, and I'm the music director conductor of the Ashtabula Area Orchestra. The Ashtabula Orchestra is based in Ashtabula, Ohio, where we are in residence at Kent State University, Ashtabula. This is the 22nd season of the Ashtabula Area Orchestra. This is a very unique orchestra for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is because the town of Ashtabula is quite small, and most towns this size don't have orchestras at all, let alone an orchestra the size and quality of the one here in Ashtabula. Why does Ashtabula have an orchestra? Well, 22 years ago, some very devoted citizens here decided this is a nice place to live. We'd like to share our love of music with the community. And so they got together and formed a very small ensemble, first playing chamber music in local churches. Little by little, the group grew, so that today we have an ensemble that's about 55 members strong. I'm often asked, how is it that I came to conduct the Ashtabula Area Orchestra? Well, I'm a professor of music at Youngstown State University, and I've conducted their orchestras and operas and musical theater productions for many, many years. Then all of a sudden I found out that the Ashtabula Area Orchestra was looking for a new conductor. I applied for the job. I came up for an interview, and then actually the entire board came down to my house in Youngstown for another interview, and that's where they said they wanted me to be conductor of your orchestra here. And that was 12 years ago. And I think it's been a good match in that amount of time. We've put on many, many concerts, some years more, some years less. I think all of our concerts have been miracles. The orchestra has responded well. We seem to work well together, and it still is a lot of fun. I have a lot of colleagues who are conductors who tell me that they get a real charge out of being in front of an orchestra. It's a real ego boost for them. And for me, I look at it a little bit differently. Maybe it's because of my many years of playing cello in orchestra, which I still continue to do in a variety of orchestras. I consider it a challenge when I'm on the podium just to see how well I can interact with the people in the orchestra and see how good we can all make our performance. And I've often found, in Ashtabula especially, that the performances we put on are better than anybody expected. It's because we just work together, and I find that that is the challenge of being on the podium for me. Not the ego, not the glory, whatever. It's working together with everybody. That for me is the fun and the challenge of being on the podium. An orchestra in a community like this can often be a focal point for culture, right? It can be a focal point for education, for students in schools. Oftentimes through children's concerts, right? We can introduce music, classical music, somewhat serious and some not so serious, to students. I find, by the way, if you're going to introduce classical music to students, you have to sugarcoat it sometimes, you know, give them some Pink Panther or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, but then play some Beethoven. So you draw them into your circle of more serious music. And it's good for them. It's no secret that studies have shown that kids who get involved in the arts, music in particular, do much better in school. They do much better on all their standardized tests. They do better in math and in science and a whole bunch of other subjects. So that is a terrific benefit to the youth of the community. Now, the one thing that the Ashtabula Orchestra does that is another terrific asset to the community, and that is every spring we have one concert that features one or two high school students in solo concertos. There's a competition, it's competitive, and the winners are asked then to play a concerto with the orchestra. Now, this is an opportunity that is rather rare, and for those kids that have won this competition, we've been doing it for over 10 years now, have had a tremendous experience. It not only is a boost to their music making, it's a real boost to their ego, their self-esteem, and it's a terrific accomplishment. The families love it too. One of the classes I teach at Youngstown State University is a music appreciation class, and it's for non-music majors. Now, these students really have had no musical experience to date. I think most of them have never been to a symphony concert. So how do I get them to go to a symphony concert? Well, it's very simple. I try to steer them toward programs which are user-friendly, programs which are a combination of familiar things, maybe some new things, maybe some serious things, maybe some popular things. So I try to steer them to programs that are going to be fun to hear. And I think that's the best way we can attract younger people to come to orchestra concerts. When people go to an orchestra concert, they see the conductor, they see the musicians on stage, it sounds wonderful, and they have a good time. But actually, if you think about it, the concert that you see is like the icing on a cake. The icing on the cake is actually the concert. But the rest of the cake involves all the other things that have to happen before that orchestra can get up there and perform. The Ashtabula Area Orchestra has a very hard-working board of directors. They get together and they help raise money for the orchestra because it takes money to have a concert, and certainly the Ashtabula Area Orchestra is, like many orchestras in this country, we need lots of help. We also have a lot of very faithful and devoted volunteers from the community here, and without them, the orchestra couldn't exist. They are the backbone of the orchestra, and we need lots more volunteers too. Matter of fact, we need lots more sponsors to help the orchestra. The Ashtabula Orchestra is like any other orchestra in this country that always needs more financial support. This is the 22nd season of the Ashtabula Area Orchestra, and it's my 12th season with the Ashtabula Area Orchestra. I continue to feel honored and privileged to be music director of this orchestra, and I just want to make sure that everybody who sees this tape knows what a fantastic treasure you have here in your community with this orchestra. This is a very fragile treasure, and it has to be nurtured and fed, and I just would hope that this continues. It's a terrific orchestra in a town this size, which is amazing in itself, and please help us see that this orchestra continues. Thank you.